Hello and welcome to the Santiago Bernabéu Stadium for the second game of the second group stage. It's Real Madrid entertaining the Greek side Panathinaikos. The group stage, the second stage, has already had a positive start with a 3-2 away win to Sparta Prague. So Madrid, once again, they'll be looking forward, looking for a win here against the Greek side to give them basically a foot in the quarter-finals.
Yeah, it would be a very good start to obviously start off with two victories. Not so much, I mean, today Real Madrid would have expected to be favourites, but the 3-2 away win in Prague was a very, very good result. And I tell you, Panathinaikos, not a bad side at all. They won a group, the first group stage. They won a group with Arsenal, Mallorca and Schalke in. Difficult group, especially
Arsenal, typical underachievers, it has to be said, in Europe, but
still a very, very good side, aren't they? Yeah,
certainly. And Schalke, German teams, always difficult in Europe. And there they are, Panathinaikos. Typically, their Greek sides are very, very difficult to beat at home.
Yes, they are.
Some also where their fans really do create a very impressive atmosphere, and the proof for that is the 2,000 or 3,000 who have followed them up here to Spain.
Yeah, and they've made a lot of noise as well, haven't they? They've obviously really enjoyed themselves as well. Big day out for them. Well, more than a day out in a lot of cases.
It's a long trip, isn't it?
A few days in Madrid.
Real Madrid. Line up what's looking like a very full-strength side. Francisco Paco Pavón there, who's been very, very impressive this season.
Yes, he's played very well. Young player, but he's been up to all the expectations so far. He looks strong, he looks powerful, and Zinedine Zidane.
Of course, Zidane, who hardly played in the first stage because he missed the first 4 games through suspension, but now here he is able to work his magic on Europe.
Yeah, and then Madrid cruise away through the first stage, and you think the first 4 games by which time they were pretty much home and dry. And they didn't even have Zinedine Zidane playing.
That's a frightening prospect for the rest of Europe. There's probably about 50,000 people in the Bernabéu tonight. It's basically because tomorrow's a holiday in Spain, of course, so a lot of people are actually away.
I think there were some question marks about Zinedine Zidane, how quickly he'd settle. It did seem to take a little while. The king in the director's box there.
The slightly paler jacket there, King Juan Carlos.
And it did seem to take a while, didn't it, with Zidane? But I think he's found his feet now.
Here's the Madrid side: Iker Casillas, Michel Salgado, Roberto Carlos, Hierro Pavón in central defence, Celades, Elguera, Figo and Zidane in midfield, and Raul and Morientes leading the attack.
Yeah, as I say, pretty much the standard Real Madrid side now, the side that you expect to see.
Celades in play for Claude Makelele, that's the only...
Yeah, that's the only major change.
There's Fernando Morientes.
Well, we have seen Vicente Del Bosque shuffle his side a little bit this year. We've seen Benitez play the odd game.
Here's the Panathinaikos side, Nikopolidis in goal. The defence organises Fisas, Gumos, Henriksson, Kirigagos, Seitadiris, Paulo Sousa, Basinas, Mikkelsen, and 2 players in attack whose names I'm going to struggle to pronounce.
Constantinou and the one was Lisa.
Thank you very much. And there's the 2 substitutes benches. Raul Bravo offering options in defence for Madrid, and Pedro Monitis, of course, who can play anywhere in attack.
Yeah.
Referee is Gilles Beisser from France, and away we go. Real Madrid kicking off, and the ball very quickly with Roberto Carlos. Guerra gets a foot in and is back with Fernando Hierro. It'll be interesting to see what sort of an attitude that Panathinaikos take into this game. Will they try and take the game to Madrid, or will they be quite happy to sit back, as so many times teams do here, and just hope to hang on?
Yeah, I think there will be a slightly more positive approach than it might otherwise have been, because Panathinaikos in their first game drew 0-0 to Porto at home, and I think they would have probably expected to win that, and they will therefore, I think, come today thinking that they really need to get something from the game. That could work both ways. It could encourage them to sit deep and play for a draw. I think that's a risk. I think what it would probably more likely mean is that they will try and make sure they get a goal, although making sure you get a goal at the Bernabeu is obviously far from easy.
It's not easy there. Zinedine Zidane with 3 players. Roberto Carlos opening the play up, but there is Olisadebe working back deep. Maybe interception, which could be a sign that he will be working hard in all areas of the pitch tonight. Salah is just moving the ball to Elguera. So Roberto Carlos, Zidane making the move wide, and here is Zinedine Zidane. Corner for Real Madrid.
There's Marcus who made the challenge, wasn't it? I think they're going to have to be very, very careful of Zinedine Zidane.
He's got a bit to prove for Real Madrid in Europe, as having joined the club with a 4-game suspension from Juventus, which he picked up with Juventus. Roberto Carlos trying to bedazzle Henriksen. Panathinaikos coach. Figo taking the game to Panathinaikos early on, and that hit Raul, I think, on the way through the shot from Zidane.
Yeah, I think it did. May well have found a way through from Zidane had it not hit Raul.
Vicente Del Bosque. He's got his overcoat on in the dugout today, and I don't blame him.
No, it didn't hit Raul. Oh, well, it did hit Raul, having already hit the defender.
Fernando Hierro up powerfully. Ball with Seitalides. Zidane just not quite finding Raul, but it's a bright start from Madrid. Already got the passing working. Here's Luis Figo cutting inside, as he likes to do so often, and linking with Raul. Cena's playing out wide, but Fisas couldn't get forward to that one, and there is Mr. Del Bosque. His collar up tonight.
Do with a hat, couldn't you, as well?
Chilly night in the Bernabeu. Stellades, lovely little touch there from Raul to Zidane, opening up the Greek defence. Roberto Carlos, the ball across Morientes. Got a touch on it, but couldn't direct it goalwards. Aguirre keeping possession though for Real Madrid. Pavon, very good early controlled start for Real Madrid these opening 4 minutes. Hierro looks up, plays it simple to Aguirre. Zidane tipping that one forward, and Aguirre getting there, showing good strength. Paulo Sousa. Henriksen back to Nikopolidis, keeper of the Greek national team. Spell possession for Panathinaikos, but Madrid pressing hard upfield, not allowing them much space, although that ball's hit long. Olisadebe. Easy.
Well, they let it run a long way, didn't they?
Easy though, because there was nobody running at the far post, and Aguirre could just turn on it. Get the ball to Roberto Carlos. It's 5 minutes here in the Bernabeu. Still Real Madrid 0, Panathinaikos 0. A positive start from Real Madrid. Stellades to Zidane, who's been very active these opening moments. Figo gets a cross in. Nervous moment there from Nikopolidis, but Real Madrid player able to get a touch. Seitalides taking on Roberto Carlos.
I thought Roberto Carlos had his hands all over Seitalides' back. Maybe even a appeared to flail out an arm at him.
Maybe he was just annoyed to see somebody try and take him off at pace. Don't see it very often. Fernando Hierro. Kiriakos getting in there, but can only succeed in sending it straight through to Iker Casillas. Celades just knocking it inside for Luis Figo, and once again Zinedine Zidane is the outlet, isn't he? He's always coming in, just keeps the ball moving. There's not anything special, but just keeps it ticking along, Zidane. Here he is again. Can't get through this time, and the ball is with Mikhailsen. Constantino. And Salgado making a bit of a mess of that one, but Hierro, lovely skill, in the right place, and as you say, lovely skill. A little back heel from the Madrid captain, sign of confidence. Raul, Roberto Carlos. Zidane. Luis Figo. Doing well there, Figo, looking to take on Fisas. Falls in the corner.
He did do well, Figo, there. Sometimes I think Figo is more effective when he runs the wing than when he tries to come inside. And there, I mean, all right, so he only won the corner, but
he's such a good crosser, such a good crosser of the ball, Figo. Here he is, taking the corner. Decent corner, but Nicopolidis claiming it at the edge of his 6-yard box. Looks up, sends it long. Salgado gets there ahead of Olisadibe. Hierro. Cross to Roberto Carlos. It looks like Panathinaikos are going to be waiting for Madrid a little bit deep.
I think they are, and then they'll try and catch him on the break using the pace more than anything else of Olisadibe.
I'm not sure if he actually missed that header or whether he deliberately left it. But as usual, Roberto Carlos' pace and his power going forward is going to be a major weapon for Real Madrid tonight against Panathinaikos in the Santiago Bernabéu in the second game of the second group stage of the Champions League. It's Paulo Sousa. Panathinaikos will be looking at Sousa to create for them in midfield, and here he's just found Mikhailsen, but easy. This time Pavon just has a little flick, turns on it, gives it to Helguera. Confidence from the youngster. Raul. Morientes going wide. Roberto Carlos. Panathinaikos getting men behind the ball, means Madrid will have to be precise, and this is exactly what they are been doing. Zidane! Chip there aimed at Morientes, but not quite got enough legs on it to get over Nicopolidis.
Yeah, Zidane really did well in the move, opening it out for Celades, and as I say, Nicopolidis came out and got it. It's come for the ball a couple of times, looked very confident, very strong.
Well, you'd hope that the Greek national keeper would be solid. Luis Figo. Against Celades, he's also been active these opening nearly 10 minutes now in the Bernabéu. There is the player born in Andorra, just keeping things moving. Gets Helguera, that's a lovely ball. Zidane, good chance for Zidane.
Very hard.
Panathinaikos are getting men behind the ball. They're trying to close the spaces out, but Madrid picking those spaces open a little bit too easily.
Shot really travel as well, so very good pass. A little bit of a deflection as well. Travel very fast. Great pass from Ivan Helguera. Ivan Helguera, that pass more than any other is the one that Helguera plays so well. Just sort of brings his foot across one, kind of cuts it back across his body. Great pass.
Particularly nice ball for the keeper there, just bouncing back from Fisas. It's Figo again, shaping the cross, but his cross deflected by the defenders. A throw in for Real Madrid. Celades. Again, Figo, just a little bit too much space there, and there was Morientes getting in on that near post and unlucky not to get a slightly better contact.
Yeah, it's a good challenge though from Gumas.
Lovely cross from Figo, just bounced in, and there Morientes got a touch on it. Got a touch on it. Gumas got the block in. Corner for Real Madrid. Once again, Nicopolides comes for that one. Didn't get there.
That time he didn't. And Hierro very nearly put it away.
And the Hierro showing, doesn't get forward all the time for Madrid, but it makes a massive difference for them when he does. Him and Elguera in there, that's a good leap, just couldn't quite direct it. It does give Madrid a lot of options on corners.
Yeah, it does, because without him and Elguera, they've not got huge height. Those two with Zidane give Madrid, as you say, far more options, give them the ability to put the ball in early, because earlier on in the competition they were perhaps a little bit overusing the short corner, because they seemed reluctant to put the ball into the penalty area in the air.
We did have some games there where Pedro Monites and Savio were playing up front, and of course they're not the tallest players in the world.
No.
In fact, they're the shortest on the pitch.
Far closer to being the shortest players in the world than the tallest.
Jan Fouts is the referee, but Sosa's able to react, get the ball away. There's Fisas giving it back to Sosa, and that's inside to Basinas. There's Basinas again, looking to open it up to Setadiris. Trying to be patient, Panathinaikos, but well organised Real Madrid just forcing them back, and Nicopolides just wonder in that sort of situation, rather than send the ball all the way back, whether it might be worth Panathinaikos slinging the odd ball into the penalty area.
Yeah.
It's Henriksen. Setadiris. Once again going back, just trying to keep a bit of possession, Panathinaikos. Constantino's given that one away. Elguera finding Raul, and here's Roberto Carlos, unsurprisingly in the Panathinaikos half. Little flick there to Elguera, and now it's Madrid's turn to build from the back. Fernando Hierro just asking a little bit too much of Raul there.
Yeah, and at the same time Zidane was just behind Raul. He turned and sort of waved at Fernando Hierro as if to say, well, let me be the outlet and let Raul play off me, rather than trying to get Raul in behind with very, very long passes, because it's not really the way Raul tends to get.
It's going to be difficult as well, because if Panathinaikos are defending deep, there's not going to be much space behind the defence for Raul to work with.
Exactly.
There's Roberto Carlos, who has got some space though. He's also got Zinedine Zidane in support, and there is Zidane just calmly working himself a chance to cross, taking on Setadiris, but he's got too much on that one.
Yeah, calmly worked himself in position, and then rather rashly put the cross in with his left foot, very, very high, very, very long.
So Nicopolides with the goal kick, urging his teammates to get a little bit further forward. Jumping there with Elguera, winning possession against Constantino, and here come Real Madrid again with Albert Celades. Elguera just moving it on to Roberto Carlos. As we pass the quarter-hour mark in the Santiago Bernabéu, it's still Real Madrid 0, Panathinaikos 0. Celades, neat pass inside to Figo. Figo, lovely ball with the outside of his foot to Roberto Carlos. Zidane, Madrid just quickening things up a little bit. Zidane chips it in. Morientes gets the ball back to Figo. Again, just a little bit slow there. Allows Constantino to rob it, but he in turn was slow, and Madrid have possession again. Roberto Carlos and Zidane already starting to form a dangerous partnership on that left-hand side of midfield. Helguera, Madrid pulling the Panathinaikos defence across the field.
Starting to look very comfortable with the ball, aren't they?
Helguera, will you think about the shot? Well, it was a shot, I think. As it was!
So was that.
Rather a better one. Thudded into Nicopolidis' chest. Luis Figo.
He did well to hold on to it as well, didn't he?
Really good shot.
For a minute there, I thought he was going to trickle through his legs into the back of the net. Nicopolidis
kept his legs together though. It's Morientes. It's Figo, Madrid. They are starting to stretch Panathinaikos.
Yeah, they really are.
Roberto Carlos.
And they're doing it the right way as well. They're using the ball. They're spreading it from one side to the other.
But they're doing it quickly as well.
They're doing it quickly, and they're doing it accurately, and it's going to be very tough for Panathinaikos to deliver this. Once I think you might see them starting to just hoof the ball when it comes near them, and no way out of here.
That's probably good news for Madrid though, because they will then get more possession from
Well, they get
Sevilla.
the ball back every time they attack, and Sevilla cut it out. That it would just be, instead of Sevilla playing out, it would just be hoof long. As Carlos Queiroz rather sensibly going back underneath the cover.
Wise move from Mr. Queiroz. We're nearly halfway through the first half. It's Real Madrid 1, thanks to Santiago Solari's strike on 6 minutes. Sevilla 0, and it's still pouring with rain in Madrid, making the pitch difficult. There is Helguera back to Iker Casillas.
But it's been a very, very good start from Real Madrid, in so much as this, particularly after the last couple of results, after a draw and a defeat in Bilbao, this is potentially a very, very tough game.
I think a lot of people were looking at this. Certainly Valencia fans were thinking, come on, this is a game that you can't allow Madrid to do this. I think Panathinaikos have got their tactics wrong. You can't allow Madrid that much possession in your half. It's, sooner or later, they've already proved it, that they will carve out chances. Players of the quality of Zidane, Figo and Raul, and sometimes you get tired of saying this, but they're going to create chances.
Yeah. No, I think any side that comes to Bernabeu and wants to take something away has to get a goal themselves. It's very rare that very, very rare. I can't actually remember the last time there was a nil at the Bernabeu that you come and you stop Madrid scoring, and that you go away with anything if you haven't scored yourself.
Morientes just a little bit frustrated there, just bringing down Seitanides, conceding a free kick, which will take the pressure off Panathinaikos for a couple of seconds at least. That was easy for Fernando Hierro. It's Celades. Helguera. Once again, Madrid gain that passing working. Figo. Just tried a little bit too much there, but Helguera, I was going to say, won the possession back. Referee penalised him for foul behind on Sousa.
And it's not going to be easy for Madrid because Panathinaikos are packing the midfield and denying the space, but Madrid have already shown that on a couple of occasions that they will find the space and they will get a chance, and it's quite a dangerous game from Panathinaikos, although let's just see what happens.
I think that ball from Mikkelsen wasn't actually aimed at Fisas, but it's found him, and here is Constantino. Tried his luck from a very narrow angle, but you've got to put something a little bit special from there if you want to beat Casillas.
Very, very narrow angle. But I mean, and Panathinaikos, what they will be trying to do, of course, is draw. I mean, to some extent, the possession being in their own half, although it's a gamble, what it does do is it draws Madrid all the way in. It gives them a lot of pitch to aim at if they then want to play long and try and catch Madrid on the break from Constantino, who more than anything else is big and strong, very tall, and Olisadibe, who's quick. But it's a gamble, because if you invite Madrid onto you, it's very, very rare that you don't end up paying for it.
It certainly is. It's one of the riskiest things in football, I would say. 20 minutes gone though. It's still Real Madrid 0, Panathinaikos 0. Sousa, creative force in the Panathinaikos midfield, and Olisadibe unable to control that one.
Yeah, he's drifting increasingly to the left, is Olisadibe, and he's just not quite getting onto the ball. I mean that is part of the reason for inviting Madrid on, because it gives him the space to play into. But your delivery needs to be far more accurate than that. His runs need to be right, and the passes to him need to be...
Basically, has to be pinpoint.
They need to be a lot better than they've been so far.
Celades, who's looked very comfortable so far, Albert Celades.
That said, by the same token, Madrid do sometimes have a habit of getting a lot of possession, not scoring early, and then just letting the possession drift and playing, and almost as if they don't actually think about the fact that, well, hang on a minute, we've got to score a goal here. Now, invariably the goal falls, but
sometimes there are times when you're least expecting, isn't it? But just that little moment of quality just comes from seemingly nowhere. Here's Roberto Carlos showing his pace there against Seitarides. Turns round. Look to be dragging back the fullback.
Seitarides is quick though. I mean, that's a couple of times now we've seen that Roberto Carlos hasn't had it that easy outrunning him.
Dealt with that quite well actually, the Panathinaikos fullback, and there Constantino gets up well against Pavon and Hierro, but struggles for support. Finally Mikhailson's come forward. Sousa wanted it in the middle. Here he is, Sousa. Paulo Sousa gives a decent return pass to Mikhailson, and goal kick, says the linesman.
I think the linesman said goal kick. I mean, certainly the last touch was from Mikhailson, but I think he said goal kick more than anything else, because although there clearly was some contact and was a foul, the ball was quite a long way away from Mikhailson by the time he was brought down, and perhaps the linesman decided, well, it was already out. Let's go on with it.
And that is what Real Madrid are doing with Luis Figo skipping past his marker. Decent cross in there. That was Henriksen had to win the header. Seitarides was pretty assured these opening 22 minutes. Number 4 for Panathinaikos. Here he is, playing that down the line for Basinas. In some sort of pain there, Basinas.
He's wiggling his legs around like an insect on his back. I think he was caught in the face. I mean, I think he was. I don't think it was deliberate, but I do think he was caught in the face.
Oh, he just cuts through his studs there, Pavon, but it's accidental.
Yeah, it's accidental. Obviously, it doesn't mean it doesn't hurt. Actually, Pavon then ended up scraping his studs right across Basinas' chest as well. Oof, that's a very, very nasty cut.
Ow.
You can see the skid mark right the way across the pitch, can't you?
There's no question of bad intent there from Pavon, but there's also no question that he has managed to open up Basinas' nose. I was suspecting some quite extensive treatment on that cut.
It might be his lip. It might be his lip.
Oof. No, I'm not surprised actually. To be honest, when he first went down I thought he was play acting, but I think the replay shows as Constantino actually not a bad chance there.
It wasn't a bad chance actually. He probably should have done a little bit better.
And that goes straight through to Iker Casillas. We've had very nearly 25 minutes here in the Bernabeu. It's Real Madrid 0, Panathinaikos 0. Zidane to Morientes. Henriksen just clearing that one to Fernando Hierro. Morientes again. Zidane. Figo twisting, turning, working a chance to cross. Raul went right down there. Yeah, he was battling between two defenders, asking for the penalty, and the French referee doesn't want to know. Throw in for Real Madrid. Figo curling that one in. Henriksen with a header.
I suspect that even if there was a foul on Raul, the referee probably just wasn't even concentrating on the penalty. He might just wouldn't have seen it.
Oh, he's got a little tug there, I think, of Kirigiakos. Whether it's enough to sort of see him go down is another question, but there is a little bit of shirt pulling going on there. And there Bassina's back on the pitch. Zidane chips it in! Oh, brilliant header, brilliant save!
A very, very good challenge from Rennie Henriksen in the end as well to sort it out.
Finally, Gulmas clearing that there, Raul congratulating Nikopolidis on a pretty good save. Good header from Raul as well, went for the post, got it low. And I think it was Gulmas who was able to scramble it away. Giving a throw in Panathinaikos' way. Lovely chip from Zidane. Raul stooping.
It's a good save because of the reaction speed.
Did really well there to Ignan Morientes, who also showed great reflexes to get in on it. Just couldn't quite direct it towards the corner, Raul. I think another foot the other way and that would have been unstoppable. Zidane battling hard. Just gets a little return pass from Thelaris. Great balance. Lovely bit of skill, wasn't it? Fernando Hierro. Referee doesn't want to know as Olis Adebe goes down. Morientes doesn't make contact with it there, does the second time? Henriksen gets in there, stops Raul getting to it.
It's a good interception from Henriksen.
Roberto Carlos now resuming his battle with Seiteridis. This time looks inside for Raul. Ball goes back to Nikopolidis. Opens up to Fisas, but good battling from Luis Figo, just closing him down. Then Mr. Kirasta. Particularly happy with what he's seeing.
No, although he'd be reasonably happy with the score.
Still 0-0 after 28 minutes.
And I don't think at this stage he would have expected to be in the lead. So in that sense, 0-0 is probably as good as he could have hoped for. I think he will. What he may well have been thinking is that if Panathinaikos can keep it 0-0 for quite a while, then Madrid start to get a little bit nervous, maybe start to throw more people up front, and then become vulnerable.
There's Morientes.
The problem with that kind of plan is if it doesn't work, you have no plan B.
So that just caught from behind there, referee giving the advantage. It's Raul in the penalty area, looking to turn. Oof, goodness gracious, that was a horrific pass there for Nikopolidis, but he's cleared it. Zidane just got caught there as he tried to turn. Let's have a look. I think it's Henriksen who goes through him, or Henriksen or Mikhailsen.
It's Mikhailsen, I think, yeah. And Raul does that a lot in the penalty area. Let's just see first.
There, Henriksen half clearing the ball. Roberto Carlos getting it back across. He backs in a little bit, trying to turn his defender, doesn't he?
What he does is he receives the ball, backing in but leaning, and he keeps backing, basically until the contact from behind disappears. And then, of course, because he's leaning, he hits the deck. And one of two things can happen: either he can get the penalty, or the game goes on. But it tends to be a gamble on a penalty which Raul takes, and if he doesn't get the penalty, sometimes what he does get is the chance to turn. I'm not quite so sure about that one, actually.
Once again, it was Mikhailsen, I think, in with the challenge. Tricky to see, isn't it? Referee giving with the free kick. He gets the ball, actually.
There's definitely some contact, but he does get the ball.
A little bit unlucky. I wonder if the referee just remembered that previous challenge from behind when he gave this free kick. And it is a very dangerous free kick. Figo and Roberto Carlos line in there. I'll tell you what, if I was Nikopolidis, I'd want another player in that war.
I think I would, on the right hand side of it as we look at it on the screen.
There's a decent cap there, and if Roberto Carlos, poor old Bassinas, he looks like
moustache. It's fantastic.
If Roberto Carlos gets that one right,
you wouldn't want to be in the wall having already had your face open with Roberto Carlos running up.
And I'm just thinking, if Roberto Carlos gets a good contact on that, even if Nikopolidis isn't the right side.
They've left a lot of space, haven't they, for him to go for?
The Figo! Great save from Nikopolidis. Cracking free kick as well.
Great save. It's actually a little bit of a surprise in so much as a right footer from there. I was thinking he might go for the near post, and that if it was going to that side of the goal, it would be Roberto Carlos doing it hard. But Figo was shown so much of the goal that
exactly.
he decided that's
Actually, he did go where there was a gap in the wall.
Very big gap as well.
But he picked the spot nicely, Luis Figo. Drew a fine save from the Greek keeper. As it is, it's a corner for Madrid. And Celade is getting a volley in there, which was scrambled clear.
What Panathinaikos do have as an advantage over Madrid is they're a much bigger side. Physically, they're a more imposing team.
Velades. Quite understanding Raul there. That's asking a lot of Constantino. Bassinas in the walls again. Seitadires. Helguera, Roberto Carlos. Celades once again just to Zidane. Madrid keeping things moving. They've looked very fluid in attack on Madrid.
Yeah, they've looked comfortable. They use the ball well. They've been patient so far, but I think that's one of the things that Panathinaikos will be thinking to themselves. Well, they won't keep being patient, Madrid, if they don't find some sort of breakthrough.
Had a lot of room there, Zidane, and he's done really well to hold off Sousa. Still Zinedine Zidane. Celades, lovely back heel from Raul, trying to split open that Panathinaikos defence. Constantino penalised for a slightly over-physical approach there in the middle of the park. We've had 32 minutes here in the Santiago Bernabéu. It's still Real Madrid 0, Panathinaikos 0. Free kick from Structure against Figo.
Figo's gesture was quite clear. He thought he had his shirt tucked in.
There's that free kick again from Figo, which not only curls a lot, but it's hit hard.
So
it's on a slightly narrower angle. Poor old Bassinas. Once again in the middle of the wall, which is about 4 yards away. Figo curls that one in.
It's a good leap.
The wall was so close there, though, as Figo took that free kick. And then Pavon opens it up nicely to Zinedine Zidane. Helguera pushing forward, but it's given away there by Ivan Helguera. The referee allowing play on there. Zidane just looked to tug a little bit of the Panathinaikos player.
Well, to be honest, I mean, I didn't think there was any doubt that Zidane tugged him. I think actually Zidane stopped, or momentarily stopped anyway, thinking, oh, well, there's a free kick, and that he was just going to go back and get on with the game.
Well, Nico Politis nearly found himself in real trouble there as Roberto Carlos bore down on him. I think he'll have a couple of words with his defender after that rather short back pass. Oh dear, that was not very good from Henriksen. That's neat though from Madrid. Here they come with Roberto Carlos on the right hand side of midfield. Luis Figo cutting inside, forcing a corner.
Don't really want to see Roberto Carlos sprinting like that.
Allowed to take that shot. Figo curling it in, and a good cross from Figo. Goal kicks as the referee Morientes just laments his inability to get the proper contact on that header. It's a lovely cross from Figo.
Great cross.
We've got 10 minutes to the break in the Bernabéu. It's still Real Madrid 0, Panathinaikos 0. Sadeve trying to link with Paulo Sousa. Throw in for Real Madrid. It is all Madrid at the moment.
Yeah, it is, and you know, Elisa Debe particularly has barely seen the ball. I mean, Constantino has a little bit more because he's dropped a little deeper looking for it. He's bigger he's bigger in terms of height, and he's been chucked a few balls up in the air, pretty aimless, to be honest. Yeah. But it is, in terms of possession, it is all Madrid. Although Panathinaikos will be reasonably pleased with with where they've kept Madrid, which is generally speaking out of their penalty area, although it's such a fine line to tread.
Exactly. The problem would be if Madrid score, what would Panathinaikos do?
Well, they have to completely change their approach.
You can't defend the one. Well, maybe you can actually. Maybe they'll be thinking, well, look, most teams are going to get a hammering in the Bernabeu. If we only lose 1-0, that's not a bad result, and it'll give us an advantage when it comes to goal difference.
Possibly, except that having got a 0-0 draw at home in the first game, I think that the luxury of being able to think like that has probably been removed from them.
Figo once again looking to curl the ball in this time. Mikhailsen is able to get there, gets the return pass from Henriksen.
There may also be a slight sense that quite often with the Champions League groups, there's only 4 teams in them, fairly obviously, that teams look at where they might...
Sorry, Seita Davis really tried to do a little bit too much down here. Zidane working himself for space. Zidane! And that ball goes back to Nikopolidis. For 1 minute though, Seita Davis caught in possession, gave away, and Zidane was trying to carve out the chance. He could have shot there. Maybe he could have shot there.
Could have done.
And there they just closed the door on him.
And you can see Morientes hopping backwards trying to get onside. What I was going to say is that sometimes in Champions League groups, because there's 4 teams in them, you do look at it, the groups, I think at the start of the group, I think most clubs do anyway, and they think about getting through. Of course, getting through is all that matters. So it doesn't really matter if you come first or second. And Panathinaikos might be looking at it and thinking, okay, Sparta Prague, Anderlecht, ourselves and Real Madrid. They may well be thinking, Real Madrid are going to walk this group. It's about the other 3 teams, which does increase the possibility they're thinking like you say, which is that a 1-0 defeat might not be that bad, because if it's better than the other 3, then fine. The other thing they may just be thinking is that they'll be going into the second game against Real Madrid for them, the 5th game. Madrid could be already through, and they may be thinking, hello, we could get a result here.
It might be a little bit easier for us.
Because Madrid might well travel with a weakened team or whatever.
Rest a couple of players. Exactly. As it is, they've managed to force a corner. The first of the game.
I said Anderlecht, I'm not Porto, by the way. I've just been looking down the table. It was Anderlecht. We're in the previous group with Real Madrid, yeah.
Oli Sadebe gets it back to Sosa. Time to get it across Sosa. But Fernando Hierro commanding in the Madrid penalty area. It wouldn't have mattered anyhow because referees penalised Panathinaikos. 6.5 minutes to the break. It's still 0-0 in the Bernabeu. Figo looking to take on Fisas there for pace. Linesman's waved for the foul.
Figo may have fallen on his shoulder. He seems to be holding his arm across his chest.
Well, first booking of the game on 39 minutes for Fisas. Scything Figo down from behind. Packing the penalty area when Madrid have those free kicks, Panathinaikos, really making it very difficult for Morientes and company to find any space. There is Morientes just dropping deep and aiming for the penalty areas. The ball's back with Figo. Fisas gets the block in. Figo leaves it for Mitchell Salgado. Celades working away. Doesn't lose possession very often.
No, he doesn't. I think sometimes the fans get frustrated with him because they see him as a player who doesn't do enough with the ball, but that's because he's not trying to do anything.
Talk about doing enough with the ball. Brilliant pass from Zidane, and there, with 5 minutes remaining to the break, is the first goal of the game. Ivan Elguera popping up deep in the Panathinaikos penalty area and producing great control, a great finish, but what a pass from Zidane.
Fantastic pass from Zidane, but we talk about Zidane and Figo and Raul, Morientes, but Ivan Elguera, that's a fantastic finish. Brought it down really, really coolly, and it is a great pass from Zidane. This is a superb finish. What's he doing there for a start?
Great control.
Look
how
cleanly he hits it.
Goes to the keeper's legs. Shouldn't really score from that angle. Nicopolidis won't be very pleased with that. It's a great finish.
No, but that said, it's the only place it could have gone that he wouldn't have saved it, because you just can't close your legs. When it's hit that hard, you cannot close your legs quick enough to stop it. It's a great goal. That's a really good hit from Ivan Elguera.
Oh, yeah.
As you say, really shouldn't score from there, but it is a very, very good shot from Ivan Elguera. And that Panathinaikos plan, if it indeed was a plan,
well, it's they've got 4 minutes to break.
It's unstuck, isn't it?
They've got 4 minutes to break. They'll have to go in there, providing it remains 1-0, of course, and think about it. Because on 41 minutes, Ivan Elguera has broken the deadlock here in the Santiago Bernabéu. Brilliant pass from Zidane. Great control from Elguera and a powerful finish from a tight angle.
Yeah, not just from a tight angle as well, but with the ball sitting up a little bit. Elguera did really, really well to swivel his body slightly so that he hit it very hard and very low.
Now Madrid looking to up the ante. Make it 2, hits the bar! Luis Figo thundering in that shot, and all of a sudden the alarm bells are ringing for Panathinaikos. Really got a good contact, good clean contact on that. Luis Figo hit the ball tremendously hard. And Panathinaikos leaving that one for Nicopolidis. I think the main reason for that is that it will actually allow 10 or 12 further seconds to tick by.
Yeah.
What they want to do now is survive till half time,
and then maybe have a rethink.
Riero and Mikkelsen. That's a great control because he just sets it up nicely for him,
and it's the way he keeps it down that's so impressive.
Vicente Del Bosque, so he doesn't give much away, but you can tell he's very, very happy to see that one go in.
No, he doesn't give much away. I think he must also have very cold hands. Got them out of his pockets, little pump of the fist, straight back in the pockets.
Oof, little clash of heads there between Riero and Mikkelsen. Sousa. It's easy though, and it's Elguera back in defence. Poor free kick that from Sousa, just invited the Madrid defenders to attack it. Very poor.
For the guy who I think we assume would carry the weight of the creative spark from Panathinaikos, Paulo Sousa has been very, very poor indeed.
There he is, not quite able to keep that one in. Minute and a half of normal time. Panathinaikos, if they want to keep it at 1-0 at the break, whereas Madrid have a minute and a half if they want to double their lead. I think if they could score a second Madrid, it would basically be game over. Just losing control there, Thalades, but the Madrid defence in position, just keeping things moving. Pretty frightening stuff from Real Madrid. This Roberto Carlos balls across the face of the area, and really Raul should have made it 2-0.
Well, he should have done.
Just came on too quickly.
Exactly, except that all he could really do was react to it. A lovely pass from Zidane, a really lovely pass. I think it's Figo that then flicks Roberto Carlos' cross on. It is all Raul can do, just to react to it, try and guide it within the post. But
just another little sign of what Real Madrid are able to do when they.
Well, I think the other thing, of course, is that having conceded the goal, then Panathinaikos' concentration perhaps goes a little bit. They open up that little bit more, which is why, as you were saying, they need to get to the break now, and then either rethink or say, okay, 1-0, and let's just keep it as it is and try and get a goal on the break. And if it's a draw, great. If it's a defeat, then a defeat.
But most teams are going to lose here.
Yeah, I think exactly. I mean, a defeat, as the Spanish tend to put these things. Falls within the thinkable, if you see what I mean, in that they will have probably looked at this group and thought, well, we're quite likely to lose at the Bernabéu.
1 minute of injury time. There's Bassina, so I'm quite sure he'll be quite happy to hear the half-time whistle. The number 20 for Panathinaikos, who got a nasty cut lip after.
Yeah, he could do with another moustache being applied, couldn't he? Yeah, and I think all Raul can do really there is react. His body shape's all wrong, so really do anything else with the ball.
Went across quickly, and he didn't really have any time just to get his feet in the right place. Zelguera. Luis Figo. Seitarides able to cut that one out. Mikhailsen. Once again, Madrid onto them very, very quickly. And that one just going through to Nikopoulides. We'll be probably hoping to hear that half-time whistle any moment now. Indeed, there it is. So, after 45 minutes of pretty much Real Madrid dominance in the Santiago Bernabéu, the score is Real Madrid 1, Panathinaikos 0. The big surprise is perhaps Madrid had to wait till the 41st minute when Ivan Helguera produced a lovely finish. 1-0 to Real Madrid. We will be back soon. Hello and welcome back to the Santiago Bernabéu Stadium, where you just saw Ivan Helguera with a big smile on his face, and no surprise there because he put Real Madrid ahead on 41 minutes with a lovely finish following a brilliant pass from Zinedine Zidane. 45 minutes in which Real Madrid have dominated basically from start to finish, but they struggled to break down a very difficult, well-organised Panathinaikos attack defence.
Yeah, they did. I mean, Real Madrid have been on top in terms of possession. They've been on top in terms of territorial advantage, because they've been pretty much in the Panathinaikos half all game. But there's been a slight feeling, and I think that's why you say it's very important that even Helguera scored that goal, because there was a slight feeling they didn't quite create the number of chances they perhaps should have done for their dominance round. Only actually had 5 shots in that first half. Not really enough. Ivan Helguera's broken the Panathinaikos defence, which was pretty well packed throughout that half. And now Panathinaikos obviously have to rethink how they're approaching it. There's 2 subs coming on.
Definitely.
Karagounis and Boateng. Presumably, we're going to see a different style, not just different players. It'll be interesting to see who they replace.
Exactly. We've not had the confirmation of who's gone off yet, but certainly Olisa Dibe is on there. It's Paulo Sousa, who's a little bit disappointing in the first half, and Mikhailsen, who was reasonably solid.
So it's two central midfielders. Mikhailsen, who is the slightly more defensive of the two. I say Paulo Sousa, I thought, was terribly disappointing in that first half.
But that does mean that Panathinaikos, who did look in the first 45 minutes as if they would be reasonably happy to go away with a 0-0 draw, and I can't say I blame them. They've had to obviously rethink their strategy somewhat. But here, not working out too badly. And Iker Casillas, who's been virtually a spectator all game, had to react really quickly there to basically deny Boateng, who'd got in there.
Yep. At the very, very start.
Positive start from the Panathinaikos substitute. Seitarides crossing the ball, and Olisa Dibe got on the end of it, couldn't keep the ball down.
Yeah, they need to get Olisa Dibe into the game much more. That's a good challenge.
Save from Casillas.
Very good challenge. You actually saw Boateng swing for the ball, and by the time his leg follows through, the ball's already gone. He's actually tried to shoot. He ends up shooting thin air.
Just whips his left arm around him, and Casillas, and that's
Boateng will need to get the other strikers into the game. Olisa Dibe and Constantino really need to be much more a part of this match, because they've been completely anonymous. And it's nice to see. By the way, I've lost my page completely there for now. Nice to see Fissas with only half a moustache this half. In the first half, he had the whole of his lip bandaged up. He's just got a little cut now on one side and a little bit of white.
Well, they've certainly had a bit of work on him in the half-time break. Zidane. We did run the show for the first 25 minutes. Didn't do anything spectacular, but just kept the ball moving. Lovely little flicks helping Raul and Figo find space. And there is Helguera picking out Roberto Carlos. Roberto Carlos gets in there, but Kirigiakos able to clear that cross from the fullback. Roberto Carlos Vicente del Bosque still has his hands jammed deep into his overcoat pockets. For a goal kick. So it'll be interesting to see what Mr. Kirastas, the Panathinaikos coach, has been saying to his players at half-time. I'm sure Boateng will have a bit more room to range forward.
Yeah, I mean, he looks like he's going to play slightly to the right of the central midfielders, and Karagounis playing in midfield, really pushing on. I think that's the key. They need to force Madrid into actually doing some defending, which they haven't been so far.
The problem could be, of course, that if they do press on in midfield, then Madrid are going to find more spaces in attack.
Of course, that's a gamble they probably have to take.
It tends to happen. There's Gomez with Hendrickson. Yeah, the number 12, Mikkelsen, who went off, actually spent most of the game working as an extra defender, didn't he? Has to be said. Sadebe, some pull back for offside there.
Well, he's given a little thumbs up because I think pretty much it's the first time anyone's even tried to give him the ball, and he was offside. But at least they started to deliver the ball roughly into areas where he can get onto it.
It's been a pretty thankless evening for the Panathinaikos striker. He's really had to feed on crumbs, hasn't he? It's Luis Figo. Caragonis there. Salgado in support. Back with Figo. There. Sinas gets in the way and free kick given Real Madrid's way. It looks to be shoulder to shoulder, doesn't it?
Yeah, and shoulder to shoulder, and with the initial contact coming from Salgado. The way the referee saw it.
Luis Figo will take the free kick, which is virtually a short corner for Madrid. Luis Figo curling it in. Caragonis got it.
Yeah, just in front of Morientes.
Figo. Elguera getting forward more and more in this game. I think he's quite happy to have scored that.
Oh dear, and Figo, quite frankly, should probably be good for that. And he apologises
to Caragonis, but he slid in on him there. Oof, it's a wee bit late. No chance of getting the ball either.
Managed to flip Caragonis over so that Caragonis ended up face down on Luis Figo.
About 5 minutes in the second half, it's still Real Madrid 1. That goal from Ivan Elguera on 41 minutes. Panathinaikos 0. It's Pavon just winning possession, leaves it for Celades. Albert Celades. It's given away though by Boateng. A little bit dangerous that pass from Celades. Good run from Boateng. And now Olisaribe. And Casillas made himself big there, Casillas, didn't he?
Excellent save, and it's the first time that Emmanuel Olisaribe's had the chance to get away.
Great run from Boateng. I'm sure that's what Panathinaikos will be looking for. And he's just getting tugged there by Michel Salgado, actually. He tried to get through.
And Casillas, it's his right foot that finally puts the ball away. I mean, he's
got his angle right, spread himself, made it difficult for the striker. Who perhaps should have done a bit better, but Casillas is a very difficult keeper to beat. He's so fast.
Stretch that leg out.
Yeah, so this looks like bad news for Madrid. It's Hierro seems to be limping off.
Or Karanka rather. I was looking at the subs bench beforehand and thinking there weren't too many defenders on there.
It just depends what Del Bosque wants to do. He could drop Elguera back into defence.
And it is Karanka.
It is Aitor Karanka.
Which is the most logical straight like-for-like change.
That's bad news for Real Madrid. Fernando Hierro has once again been imperious in defence, has to be said. Limping off just 7 minutes into the second half. As Madrid have a little bit of defending to do. Casillas, however, claims that one with no trouble. Skill there from Zidane. He's got 4 players around him. Yeah, we're trying to thread it through. It's back of Zidane. Luis Figo lines up the shot, and that was not far wide from Figo. He hit the bar in the first half, and that wasn't far away.
Yeah, I was just about to say exactly that. He's had two very, very good shots from distance. That one a little further away than the other one, and also on his right foot. I think the one against the bar was left-footed.
Yeah.
But he's looking dangerous from there, and of course what that will do is it will force the Panathinaikos defence to step up to him a little bit rather than mash themselves across the front of the area and just hold them off there, which is what they've tried to do to the Real Madrid team so far.
There, Elguera just penalised for that challenge.
Vasinas with his half moustache.
Opens it out to Setarides.
It's been a very positive start from Panathinaikos, certainly considering the willfulness with which they allowed Madrid to have the ball in the first half. It looks like they've changed mentalities at least.
Teddy Boateng looks more powerful in midfield, but here's Figo.
Well, and we've actually seen something of the strikers at last.
Caragunis losing possession with Hendrickson. Looked for that one a wee bit, the Greek midfielder.
I did, but I think he might have paid for it.
Georgios Caragunis.
He very clearly waited for it, didn't he? But then I think he got Elguera's forearm in his back. It sort of serves him right, to be honest.
He did just wait for it, then takes a little step in front of Elguera just to ensure that there's some contact. Throw for Panathinaikos. It's Constantino. A bit like a foul for it, a bit indeed. Setarides. Roberto Carlos being pressured by the Greek centre forward, the big number 19, and pressured so hard that he nudged him in the back and pushed him over. Just was in front of him, Roberto Carlos, but they.
Well, I mean, Constantino is about 4 times the size of Roberto Carlos in terms of height, and when as he leant into him, he was just towering over him, nudge on the top of the shoulders, and Roberto Carlos went down.
Here come Madrid again. Celade is just trying to direct things from central midfield. Crowded out there. Referee trying to give an advantage as there is none. Back with Aitor Karanka and Zidane, who's also trying to get involved in these first 10 minutes of the second half. Raul keeping it moving to Roberto Carlos. Still with Raul. Elguera. Zidane. Luis Figo. Looking for Salgado, who's just made the run now. Zidane's picked him out, brilliant pass. Salad is crossing, and there Nicopolides not really under pressure to take the cross. Looks up, hits it long. Karanka gets up well.
A little surprised that as Constantino went up for that he didn't have better support. This is all well and good him going up, but he needs people playing off him, or else there's not really a lot of point in hoofing it long to him.
Roberto Carlos making a run down the left. Figo against Setarides. He just worked himself a little space there. Figo done brilliantly. Luis Figo looks up. Fortunately for Madrid, that cross just chipped at Kyriakos. Right winded him actually.
Yeah, I think it might well have winded him.
Brilliant piece of skill there. Figo almost stopped the ball dead. Once again, Nicopolides making a good claim.
His handling's been good, hasn't it, tonight, Nicopolides?
Yeah, he just knocked the wind out of the number 16 there. Control though there from Kyriakos, and Hendrickson hitting the ball off Zidane, throwing going Panathinaikos' way. Boateng. Salgado up well. And is Caragunis. Ooh, unlucky. Good turn from Constantino. Turn Karanka inside out.
It's a very nice idea for the pass, wasn't it? Very nice idea indeed.
It's back with Karagounis.
Karagounis has at least added a little bit of dynamism to that midfield. He's just his movement's good. He's going at people. He's got a good attitude.
Setadidis got the run of the ball there, but Karanka was able to clear. Salgado up well. We're certainly seeing more of Constantino as well in the second half. Fisas. Still Fisas. Not really got anyone available, has to send it back to Gomas. Back with Fisas, who opens it out to Botang. Setadidis, much better from Panathinaikos, remaining patient. And he goes back to Nikopolidis. Little lunge in there, but Elguera on the ball. He's got Figo with him. He'll have to be careful, Luis Figo. He's got Karagounis behind him. And there, Salgado, as usual, in hard. Karanka sends it back to Iker Casillas. Roberto Carlos' game's just stepped up a little bit in intensity.
Yeah, it has, because mainly because Panathinaikos are pushing the game that little bit further up the pitch, forcing Madrid back, forcing Madrid to play a lot more hurriedly, because in the first half, one of the characteristics of that half was that Madrid played the game very, very comfortably and at a fairly slow pace.
They were under no pressure in the half, were they?
No pressure whatsoever. Now at last they are.
There's Elguera getting past Botang, looking for the ball through the middle. It's cut out by Henriksen. Constantino and Olisadeve wasn't that clever there, was he?
Well, he wasn't. Well, I'll tell you what it is. He wasn't sure to go for it because I think he realised he was offside, and then I'm not sure who the runner was to the right. It may well have been Basinas, but he was waiting for the runner to see if the runner went for it. When he didn't, he thought, well, I'm going to have to go for it. And I think deep down knowing that as soon as he moved, the flag was going to go up.
We've had 15 minutes of the second half here in the Santiago Bernabéu. It's still Real Madrid 1. That goal scored by Ivan Elguera. Panathinaikos 2. Salgado getting forward. Zidane nearly picking a hole there in the Panathinaikos defence. No one looked offside, it wasn't. Casillas out of his area just to stop Constantino, and in the end concedes a throw-in. Iker Casillas, which is completely wasted. Thanks mainly to Roberto Carlos' vision, got there first. Elguera. Ball back with Karanka and Albert Salades. Luis Figo on the ball. Chipping that one down the line for Raul, now wearing the captain's armband. Of course, Fernando Hierro forced off through injury 4 minutes into the second half. Replaced by Aitor Karanka. Lovely skill again from Figo. Nikopolidis makes a good claim under pressure from Fernando Morientes.
It is a good claim, and he's been solid with his handling all night.
Good cross from Figo. Maybe Morientes had wanted a little bit higher, but the angle that Figo delivers them at is very difficult, both for defenders and keepers. Just invites the striker to run onto it.
But exactly, because it's going in quite close, but it's swinging back out towards the on-running player, in this case Morientes.
Zinedine Zidane, it's with Michel Salgado now. Pavon just opening that one out nicely to Roberto Carlos. He fooled himself there, Roberto Carlos, but it worked out. Henriksen at full stretch. Elguera, who's enjoying himself tonight.
He really is enjoying himself. He's playing very well.
Figo. Salgado, who's finding more and more space on that right-hand channel. Figo, he's already lined up a couple of shots, but this time he decides to pass to Roberto Carlos. Salades just flicking that one over. A little bit careless perhaps from the number 20. Karanka up well. seen us, but a good spell of Real Madrid pressure there. With Hector Caranca. And all of a sudden Panathinaikos not pressing quite as far upfield again.
No, they've been forced a little bit further back, haven't they? But it's been a reasonably positive start to the second half for them, a reasonably positive opening, 18, 19 minutes. And they've seen, I think, Panathinaikos, one of the things that's relatively important, that they've pushed on, and it hasn't actually meant that they've been picked off by Real Madrid. Not yet, of course. The problem is it only needs one moment's inspiration for them.
Madrid keeping possession. Zinedine Zidane back with Pavon. Of course, we've got players like Zidane against you. Sooner or later, they are going to pick you off. Figo nearly getting in there.
That little flick from Figo, superb.
Bulmas just getting the challenge in. Salgado once again storming forward, and
a little bit of a risk from Carragonis. Fortunately, his pass was bouncing up enough
for the exactly
for Kirigiakos to head it back to Neokopolidis so he could pick it up. But otherwise, Carragonis could have played his side into quite a lot of trouble.
Doesn't as many coaching manuals. He said just chip the ball across your own penalty area. Roberto Carlos to Zidane. Very Zidane turning. He just creates 3 or 4 yards for himself. Moves it on to Celades. Is Luis Figo. Still Figo. Good strength from Figo. Can he get the shot in? Luis Figo. In fact, he's gone for the chip. Fernando Morientes nearly on the end of it, and Figo so close to the second goal there.
Yeah, not for the first time the second time in a minute. Carragonis just caused a few problems for his defence because he let Figo walk away from him a little too easily.
I think he went for that, Figo. Just had 20 minutes in the second half in the Bernabeu. Still Madrid 1, Panathinaikos 0, but Figo was not far away there from doubling Madrid's lead. You can see us able to collect that one. Great pass from Figo, lovely little knockback from Raul. Gets the return pass from Zinedine Zidane. As usual, Roberto Carlos! And there is the second, and it's Raul! Well, it was a little bit of a scramble at the end, but the move itself deserved a goal.
It certainly did. It was a superb pass from Roberto Carlos. Raul might well have hurt his head as he dived in there. It fell just behind. Morientes was a little unlucky. Just behind him, he couldn't get any control on the ball. Raul's third in the Champions League, and I think it's cost him.
It's going on the nose, maybe. Thundered across by Roberto Carlos. For once, Neokopolidis doesn't hold it, and Raul in there bravely at full stretch, 2-0.
Yeah, I think it was Rennie Henriksen that got the clash with. I think the Dane just have kicked him in the face.
I think it's Neokopolidis, actually. It's tricky one to say, isn't it? I think the keeper just as a scrutiny. Had a chance to react.
Right, it's the goalkeeper's foot right in Raul's face. But defender Del Bosque thinks it's worthwhile.
Even bigger celebrations for the first goal there from Del Bosque, because probably he knows that
that's the one that sorts
the second one for Real Madrid does tend to be the one that sorts it out. Great move beforehand though, because it went Raul, Zidane, Raul open to Roberto Carlos, and it was a great cross.
I think what we saw to some extent there was something you see so often with Real Madrid, which is that they play very good football, but sometimes they play in front of teams, and those teams can pack and can close Madrid off. What they can't stop is the very big long run from deep from Roberto Carlos, and he overlaps and he's very, very difficult stops unless your winger or your midfielder comes all the way with him, which is virtually impossible because Roberto Carlos is so quick.
He just gives so much to them, doesn't he?
And then finally Madrid get in behind teams, and then it's an old-fashioned cross into the box.
It was hit so hard that Roberto Carlos cross that Neokopolidis couldn't get to it.
Yeah, and he's had a good game in terms of his handling as well. He's come and won the ball well most of the match, and that time couldn't do anything with it.
Constantino firing that one wide with his left foot. Quite a long way wide as well.
Sliced that very, very badly, did the Cypriot.
There's a little bit of the pressure taken off Real Madrid with that second goal.
Yeah, and I think the pressure will be literally taken off in that. I think that might just see Panathinaikos drop shoulders a little bit, because they were starting to put Madrid under quite a lot of physical pressure all over the pitch, and I just wonder if that may have
it's always disheartening for a team when they concede a goal at the time that they're probably playing their best football.
Yeah, exactly. There goes Roberto Carlos.
There he is again, Roberto Carlos, once again finding that space, drawing Henriksen out. And Zidane with Akers, just to look up, gives it back to Roberto Carlos. Zidane. Once again, easy. Just makes it look so easy. Figo crossing it. It's flicked on by Raul, and there Nikopolidis is grateful to collect it.
Good challenge from Karanka, because he needed to make it.
It was a long way out, and Roberto Carlos had just for once been caught a little bit forward, and there Karanka getting across. Another substitution.
Vlahovic, I think, isn't it?
Goran Vlahovic. I think it's...
Yeah, for Constantino, who's worked really, really hard, but not really had a huge amount of luck.
Vlahovic, of course, a player with experience of the Spanish Primera Liga. He spent a couple of seasons with Valencia, not totally successful seasons. He was a player who actually threatened to do more than he actually produced.
Yeah, it didn't ever quite come off for him, did it?
So I'm quite sure he'll be hoping to get the chance to prove that he was a lot better than he could actually show in Spain. And what better stage to do so than in the Santiago Bernabéu in the Champions League. It's Caragunis getting a shot on target, but no trouble for Iker Casillas, as we have just 20 minutes of normal time left in the Bernabéu, with Real Madrid winning 2-0. Those goals scored by Ivan Helguera and Raul. There is Ivan Helguera collecting the ball. It seems to have gone a bit flat.
Just wonder the way Roberto Carlos turned and reacted to Zidane there. Whether Zidane had said to him, "No, don't say anything." He said, "I don't mind it being a little flat." Roberto Carlos did seem to be sort of rather apologetic and grinning about the fact that
I think the way he hits the ball, Roberto Carlos quite like the ball to be flat. He'd get even more power in his shots. Kyriakos bringing down Raul there. Not much doubt about that one.
Kyriakos basically ended up falling across Raul's legs, didn't he?
So another dangerous free kick for Real Madrid. Luis Figo looks set to take it, although Zidane is also there. The crowd are rather expectant. Figo with the free kick, blasted in, and Nikopolidis doing well, but cannot do anything to stop Raul, making it 3-0. Once again, the Madrid captain showing that poacher's instinct.
Yep, reacted very, very quickly, Raul. On first view, I'm not sure if Nikopolidis made a mess of it or made a very, very good save.
Let's have a look.
Oh, he's
gone a little bit far across.
Oh, he's pushed it against his post. It didn't see. Which sort of explains the fact that on first view it didn't seem quite right for it to come back into the penalty area. The problem was...
He was a bit far, he was expecting the cross, wasn't he?
Well, he was quite near the post, and then he thought to himself, Figo's crossing this. So he went back across, and then forced himself into making a much more full-stretch save, a much harder save than I think he first expected. Del Bosque this time?
Well,
hands back in the pocket.
Hands back in there, it's chilly. Yeah, you got to have a little question there over Nikopolidis.
I think so, yeah.
And it was a little bit unlucky that his save actually went off the post and didn't go out for a corner. But once again, what about the poaching instincts from Raul?
Superb.
So I suspect now these last 17, 18 minutes of normal time are likely to be plain sailing for Madrid. A goalkeeper should never have to go that far across to his near post.
Exactly. It's interesting actually that you mentioned the poaching instincts of Raul. When Nico Palacios makes that save, Raul's got two men alongside him. I'm not sure who one of them is, but one of them is Seitadis, and Raul reacts
much quicker,
much quicker, because Seitadis actually has plenty of time to see the save, and the two of them, well, the Greek stays still. Raul reacts really quickly. There's Vlahovic who wants the corner.
The Croatian striker there, not troubling Iker Casillas. So now it's 3-0, and the Madrid fans, I'm surprised they've not been jumping up and down earlier on in the game just to keep warm, actually. As I say, it's a cold night here in Madrid. 3-0. They won their first group game 3-2 away against Sparta Prague, and all of a sudden things looking pretty rosy for the quarter-finals of the Champions League.
Yeah, things looking very good for Real Madrid, and as much as anything else, because they've looked fairly comfortable for the most part. I mean, they've not been at their brilliant best. What they have been in this first half is they were very comfortable. They used the ball very well, didn't create a huge amount of chances. Second half, Panathinaikos forced Madrid into playing the game a little quicker. They lost a little bit of control, I think, as a result, but fundamentally they've looked reasonably comfortable all the way through.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lovely back heel from Zinedine Zidane a few seconds ago. I just wonder if Madrid will now just turn on the style a little bit. The crowd are already enjoying themselves, and I'm sure they'd like to see the very best of Zidane. A few of those little flicks, those twists and turns that he does.
Well, they'll also be willing Raul to get a hat-trick by them.
Well,
Raul doesn't actually score very many hat-tricks. He scores a lot of twos. Doesn't score very many hat-tricks. He's a guy who consistently contributes rather than has rushes of lots and lots of goals.
Fisas taking that one on his chest, being pressured by Raul, being pressured by three Madrid players. Ways to get the ball to Vlahovic. Just overhit that one. It's a good run though from Basinas. Who's Figo back in defence as well?
Yeah, it's because he tracked Basinas all the way back on the run.
Here is Zidane with a little bit of space as we're into the last 15 minutes of normal time in the Bernabeu. That's what the fans want to see, those little turns from Zidane.
A superb little triangle to keep the ball, wasn't it?
And well, the attempted flick over the top, Zidane couldn't quite get there. It's a goal kick for Panathinaikos.
Roberto Carlos for Solari, I think that is down there.
Once again, Roberto Carlos has been vital for Real Madrid tonight. Up and down that wing.
And I think Vicente Del Bosque is very conscious of the fact that Roberto Carlos is so important for what he can deliver physically. I mean, he's an absolute monster, Roberto Carlos. But he manages to be 3 or 4 players wrapped into one. And I think Del Bosque is very conscious of the fact that Roberto Carlos, his physical exertion every game is absolutely enormous.
Exactly.
So wherever he can, of course, it makes sense to just save him maybe the last 15 minutes as he's doing tonight.
They need him up and down that wing all season.
All season, exactly. And there isn't really a natural left-back replacement in the squad.
There's Raul Bravo, but of course he's still very young. And Solari, who's more of a left-sided midfielder, really.
Exactly.
And he can do the job going forward. Sometimes just struggles a little bit in defence, Solari.
And well, there he is up front. I suppose he's even going to try and play in the centre.
Solari is getting caught a bit late there. He's got Figo in support. Looks up Luis Figo.
Great cross, good climb from Morientes, but he had Gumas right on his back.
It's been another night where it's not quite worked out for Morientes, but he's got into the right places, he's worked hard, in fact he's won the headers as well, and just been unlucky.
Yeah, I mean, you only have to look at the way the line up for the corner to appreciate how big a side Panathinaikos are. So even if Morientes does get up, and if he's got a guy alongside him, it's going to be very difficult for him to get his headers away.
Well, curled in again, and Nico Palacios, well, he got a hand on it, basically diving in a crowd of Madrid players, and Morientes was in there again.
Yeah, and it was Kiriakis, I think, just giving Morientes a little bit of a nudge, just enough for him not to be able to get his head to the ball.
There's Vlahovic working hard. He's done quite well there. It's not a good pass there from Basinas. There's Zidane helping out. To Solari. Few studs shown to Santiago Solari there. That's the second booking of the night.
Fisas had already got one, hadn't he?
That's Seitadires.
Yeah, it was pretty late.
He flew in a wee bit at him. So both the Panathinaikos fullbacks been booked tonight. Raul, Michel Salgado. Saladi's just opening it up for Solari, who's back on his feet again. The Olays ringing around the Bernabeu. Certainly Madrid in complete control at the moment.
Yeah, and the thing about the Olays ringing round is it then encourages Madrid just to keep the ball, because there's a sense of satisfaction, and also there's a sense just of the fans saying, yeah, that's what we want you to do. Don't worry about scoring, just keep the ball.
I'm sure they wouldn't complain to see a fourth.
Sure they wouldn't. Yeah.
Figo trying to make that happen, but this time, well, Nicopolidis, he was great for 60 minutes.
Yeah.
All of a sudden,
I don't know if it's the confidence blow, perhaps of conceding the goals, or the fact that he feels more exposed now because Panathinaikos are not quite getting hold of him so well. But that's a very ropey piece of goalkeeping.
It's not neither a punch nor a catch. It's sort of a leave, isn't it?
Yeah. Patch or a punch or a catch, neither. Pointless.
It's a goalkeeping mistake.
Yeah, it's a goalkeeping mistake, that'll do.
As we go into the last 10 minutes here in the Bernabeu, Madrid comfortably leading 3-0 against Panathinaikos, and the Greeks did well to start the second half until the second goal, but as we thought, that 65th minute strike from Raul really set the seal on the win, and of course Raul making it 3-0 7 minutes later on 72 basically has just left Madrid in complete control, whereas Panathinaikos are struggling to put anything together.
Yeah, I mean that second goal, it really just drained all the hope out of them, didn't it? And they'd actually started the second half much more brightly, much more intelligently, a lot more aggression as well, which was very important. I think Karagounis in particular came on and looked like he was going to invigorate them a little bit. It happened for a while, but then as soon as that goal went in, it was game over.
Adios amigos, Madrid on track for their second win in this second group stage of the Champions League. It's looking very, very rosy at the moment for Real Madrid. It's Fisas.
Well, and I think what happens quite often when you're 3-0 down, I think this is probably true of Panathinaikos now, you just want that whistle to go now. Unless you're a striker, because if you're a striker,
you always want to score, don't you?
Yeah, and not only that, but if you're a striker and your team's being beaten, you can always tell yourself that it wasn't your fault, you just didn't see anything of the ball. So if you do score, it's kind of a personal triumph despite everything else. But I think most of those Panathinaikos players now just want the end of this game.
Yeah, exactly. Get on that plane home. It's a shame for the thousands of travelling fans. There's about 3,000 high up in the stands of the Bernabeu.
Yeah, up in the north end. They've made a lot of noise as well.
They're gone a bit quiet at the moment.
Well, the European nights do tend to bring the best out of the Madrid fans as well, because for the first, Spanish fans tend not to travel all that much. So in European nights, suddenly you get 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 away fans, and their singing tends to prompt the Madrid fans in to sing more. So you do get a much better, much livelier atmosphere. Yeah.
Figo curling that one in, and Nicopolidis hanging on to it. Alguera just fouling Boateng, who threatened to make an impact at the beginning of the second half, but has drifted out of the game like too many of his companions.
Yeah, exactly. And then, he and Karagounis, they tried to prompt a reaction, and for a little while it looked like they might, but nothing really's happened. And you've got to feel a bit sorry for this guy, because he's hardly seen the ball.
Had one chance.
Yeah.
He had one chance to level the scores, and saw Iker Casillas stand up to him, made himself big. Casillas saved with his right leg. Madrid looked to have Pedro Munitis warming up on the bench.
Probably from Morientes, at a guess.
Well defended there by Paco Pavon.
I think even they just want to
The Greek coach, Mr. Kirastis, has sat down, which kind of implies that he's also given up on tonight. Karagunis to take the corner. Well in there, and that's a great save from Casillas from absolutely no. I think that was Botango got on the end of it.
Fantastic.
Thundered the header in.
Got a lot of power on that.
What a brilliant save from Casillas as well. Just flew in the air to save that one. It's Karagunis trying to cross it again, and that was a bit easier for Iker. He once again has earned his call. He's only had to make 2 saves tonight, but they've both been, well, brilliant.
Yes, they've had an exceptional save.
Maybe this one at 3-0 isn't so important, but the one he made at 0-0, standing up to Olisa Debe, was vital. Who knows what might have happened if it had gone 1-1. Offside against Vlahovic. Unmarked, and he reflexes so quick. It was a bit close to him, but he was so quick to get hands on it.
Yeah, it was a bit close to him, but as I say, he was very quick, and particularly, again, you're right, to get hands on it, because otherwise it could have hit him in the chest if he hadn't reacted, but he got his hands on it, reacted very well. Good, powerful header. That said, a little bit further across, and Casillas
would have been a consolation goal.
Exactly.
Salgado still got the legs to get into the area, and that was well, I know strikers would be quite happy with headers like that one. Kirigiakos.
Would have been a great own goal, wouldn't it?
Just look at him there, his reaction, his smile. You can always laugh about it. It just tells you what they think about this game.
Well, you reach that stage, don't you, where there's
5 minutes left.
5 minutes left.
3-0
You know you're not going to win, and it is Morientes who's going for Pedro Munitis.
Getting a good ovation from the fans. Morientes, grateful for the effort he's put in tonight, and here is Pocket Pedro.
He looks pretty happy with himself, doesn't he, from Morientes, and Roberto Carlos is still enjoying himself down the watch.
That's a better claim from Nikopolidis. Zidane just taps up to his feet. Nobody available for it short, decides to send it long.
It's been another one of those Champions League games that we see quite often at the Bernabeu, where Real Madrid play sides who just can't hold a candle to them.
No.
Madrid are that much superior to them that they play great football, but it never feels like they're
ever
going to kill
win.
themselves to play great football, and it never feels exactly like
there
this.
is Vlahovic. And the thing is, you can expect that perhaps in the first stage of the Champions League, in the first group stage, but we're in the second group stage now, when you'd think we're among the elite of Europe, and yet Panathinaikos, they are among the elite. You know, they got through a really hard group, and yet
well, it's an indication of just how strong Madrid are at home. It really is. I mean, and as you say, Panathinaikos came through from a group which had Arsenal, Mallorca, and Schalke in it, and at the very least, they finished ahead of Arsenal. It's pretty impressive.
You know, German sides are never easy to beat, aren't they? They're always hard-working, organised.
Yeah, the disappointment in that group was Mallorca, who their first ever chance to play in the Champions League, and certainly the press in Spain were expecting a little bit more from them.
Of course, they were unfortunate in as much as they had a different coach.
Yeah,
and Luis Aragonés, who took them into Europe,
and
leaving.
Bernd Kraus.
Just didn't work.
I'll tell you what, he's not offside. Feel a bit sorry for him.
I think the ball would have run through anyhow. Here's Raul. As we've got just 2.5 minutes of normal time left in the Bernabeu. Madrid very close to what's a comfortable 3-0 win at the moment. I'm sure they'll be looking to make it 4.
Yeah, and it does almost look, and it's very early to be saying this in only the second game of the second group phase, but looking at the way they negotiate the first group phase, looking at the way they're playing now, Real Madrid
cruising, aren't they?
It looks like they're going to get to the quarterfinals without breaking sweat.
Solari swinging that ball in. Raul going for the hat-trick. Couldn't quite direct that header from the near post. That's the thing, he does go to the near post a lot.
He does, Raul. He nearly always goes to this.
You know, that's a good header, but he's obviously hard to work the angle.
Completely in his home, wasn't it? So they looked across.
There's Vlahovic on the penalty spot, and
5 white shirts, 1 green one, and the 1 green one was hiding somewhere behind the wood of white ones.
Well, with somebody, someone moving in, that wouldn't actually been a bad ball across, but ifs and ands. Here's Zidane to Munites. Panathinaikos. It's not a question of anywhere will do, but there, Oli Sadeve did quite well to get a touch on it as we go into the last minute of normal time here in the Bernabeu.
Yeah, I think there'll probably be a couple of minutes of stoppage though, won't there? From the
couple of minutes, yeah.
Although he may well decide to put Panathinaikos out of their misery.
I think there'll be at least a couple of minutes. Whether we get to 4 minutes, I would be surprised. Salgado.
There's a few people in here who'll be hoping that we don't get to 4 minutes. I think Panathinaikos would quite like to call this a day now.
Yeah, the tunnel leading to those dressing rooms must be looking awfully inviting at the moment.
I tell you what, there'll be a few of them as well wondering about which Real Madrid player they're going to grab to swap shirts with.
Well, I know who I'd want.
And presumably it's not Pedro Munites, with all respect to...
Be a bit small for me. I think Zidane would be the T-shirt. The T-shirt. The shirt I'd be after. It is indeed 2 minutes of injury time here in the Bernabeu. Pavon in well with Zidane. Oh, lovely bit of skill from Raul. Scored 2 goals tonight. One of the architects of this win for Real Madrid. Ivan Helguera opened the scoring for Madrid on 41 minutes after Madrid had completely dominated the first half, but had struggled to break down a Panathinaikos defence that had been well organised and a little bit deep, not off them enough space. Fantastic pass from Zinedine Zidane, split the defence. Helguera controlled it on his chest and hit a first-time shot which went through Nikopalidis' legs on the near post. Sounds worse on the keeper than it actually was. There wasn't really a lot he could do about it. It was just there where he couldn't get to it.
Yeah, I mean, it was from the angle Helguera was at, through his legs was the only way he was going to beat Nikopalidis.
And just happened to be pinpoint accuracy from Helguera, put Madrid ahead before the break. Could have been 2. Madrid hit the crossbar before half-time. As it was, they had to wait till the 65th minute, perhaps when Panathinaikos were playing some of their best football, but there was Raul showing a really good poacher's instinct to head home a ball that just hung in the area, and Raul made it 3-0 on 72 minutes. Once again, just slotting home after Nikopalidis got a contact on the ball but couldn't keep it out.
Yeah, he was very alert, Raul, on both goals, and he's had a good game as well. He's dropped deep to use the ball to bring other people into the play.
But Madrid have never, apart from one save from Iker Casillas in the second half when it was 1-0, when it was 1-0 has to be said, one save when it was 3-0 when the game was already won, never really looked to be in any trouble in this game.
None whatsoever. Very, very comfortable. Big
difference in class between Real Madrid and Panathinaikos, and that's been reflected pretty accurately in the score. As the referee blows the final whistle here in the Santiago Bernabeu Stadium. So 1 goal from Ivan Helguera, 2 from Raul, the King of Spain's happy there. The final score is Real Madrid 3, Panathinaikos 0, and Real Madrid go marching on in Europe. We hope you've enjoyed it, and we'll see you again in